Hi, everybody, and welcome to Bloop. I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Laura.
And today we're going to be talking about Iron Flame. Oh my gosh.
Woo-woo.
We're so excited to talk about this book. We literally, I think, when it came out, Laura and I downloaded it, and we immediately started reading it. Like, it wasn't immediate?
It was immediate.
It was immediate. Yeah, I think it was like the day of.
I think we all scored it too on Hoop, like our library. Like somehow we all had requested it.
We somehow got it for free through the library.
Through Hoopla. I was expecting to be like, I don't know, number 57 in line, but yeah. I feel like I think we all requested it at book club at some point at the same night, like put it like on hold or something, or requested our library to get it. So we were like the first one from our library to actually get
and we were so shocked. We were like, is this real?
But even though I can't like really read physical books really that well because of my neuro stuff, I still bought, like, there was like that whole thing on Amazon, I don't know if you remember, it was like they offered no image, you didn't even know what the book was gonna be, and I just ordered it anyway.
Oh.
And it wound up being this the special edition of, not special edition, but the edition that's gonna match.
Does it have the black?
Yeah, but it was they revamped book 1 to match book 2, because if you remember, the original book 1 had like the dragons on the end, on the sprayed edges, and then the cover didn't look as much, like a lot like Iron.
And those were going on eBay for like $250 or something crazy.
I know. So I got to score like the initial. So now book 1 and 2 match, and it's like I'm not even gonna like read it, but they're on my bookshelf.
I did not buy them. So, but I did tell my husband, I was like, maybe we should, because we can always resell the craziness at $250 on eBay.
No, yeah, right.
But
anyways,
we digress. Let's get back to what we're actually talking about today, and that's the synopsis. I'm going to read the synopsis real quick before we get started.
Hold on, real quick before we get started, just to remind you, we are Bloop. We are a podcast
we should probably talk about us.
That talks about all things books, but one of the main things that we do, which we haven't really seen out there, is that we provide content ratings because we feel that readers have a right to know the level of content they're getting into before they decide to pick up a book and invest their time, energy, and money. And emotions. Yes. I don't know about you, but sometimes you get emotionally attached to fictional characters. And so that's kind of what we do here at Bloop. We like to give like a consistent, kind of like movie ratings, where this is the standard for all these categories in terms of like what age group's appropriate, like what's the violence, what's the language, like just adult themes and content, and then sexual ratings as well, sexual content ratings as well. We don't believe in censorship, but at the same time, like, readers have a right to know if they want to pick up that book or not based on content without giving spoilers. So this very first part, we're going to give you the synopsis of the book. Then we're going to give you the content ratings, our overall star rating, and how we enjoyed it. And then it goes into spoilers.
Yes. And you can find all of our content ratings on our website, which is blooppodcast.com.
Yeah.
So. All right, I'm going to get to the synopsis. All right. The first year is when some of us lose our lives. The second year is when the rest of us lose our humanity. Zayden Ryerson. Everyone expected Violet Soaringale to die during her first year at Basgiath War College, Violet included. But threshing was only the first impossible test meant to weed out the weak-willed, the unworthy, and the unlucky. Now the real training begins, and Violet's already wondering how she'll get through. It's not just it's grueling and maliciously brutal, or even that it's designed to stretch the writer's capacity for pain beyond endurance. It's the new Vice Commandant, who's made it his personal mission to teach Violet exactly how powerless she is, unless she betrays the man she loves. Although Violet's body might be weaker and frailer than everyone else's, she still has her wits and will of iron. And leadership is forgetting the most important lesson Basgiath has taught her. Dragon riders make their own rules. But a determination to survive won't be enough this year, because Violet knows the real secret hidden for centuries at Basgiath War College, and nothing, not even dragon fire, may be enough to save them in the end.
Ooh. Okay, so content ratings. This is adult. This is definitely adult with a sexual content rating of 4. So what does this mean? It means that this content contains explicit language and adult themes, including coarse language, intense or persistent violence, nudity, and then, of course, I don't know if there's really drug or alcohol abuse in this for this sake, but parents are advised to take this rating very seriously. There are detailed descriptions of physical interactions of a sexual or violent nature that go beyond the fade to black. It is also recommended to search for trigger warnings. And just so you kind of know how coarse the language is, there is a lot of cussing, and one reviewer even counted that just the F word alone, the F-bomb, 383 times in this book alone. That's not including all the other ones.
Yeah.
So
that's just the F word.
Just to give you a fair content rating. And then for me, star rating wise,
we don't have our paddles.
We don't have our paddles. That's okay.
I don't know what we did
It's
wrong
okay.
here,
We don't need our paddles. But so our producer is going to try to give us our paddles. We don't need them.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Craziness. We don't have any stuff either.
That's fine.
I think your pin has an eraser in the cap.
No.
Mine does.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oops. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Okay, so that was the content rating. And now for our star rating, which is how much Rebecca and I enjoyed this book. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree. So let's see what we did on this book.
More than likely we agree. But
okay.
And I'm just talking because Laura's more crafty and she takes longer to write down her stars.
Fine. I will not go take a long time. Oh, look, I'm finished before you.
Okay.
Ready? Ready?
1, 2, 3. 5.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Click.
Woo!
Cheers. Okay.
This time,
I personally enjoyed this book even better than Fourth Wing, which I know is kind of like a faux pas because based on what I'm seeing on social media, that's like a huge. Like,
I know. I don't know.
There's a huge divide, and a lot of people said that they didn't love it. I liked it a lot better. So for no spoilers, I just felt like there was more character development, more world building. Those were things like that I appreciate when I'm reading. Like I felt like more immersed in the story. So I felt like it did slow down a little bit, but I felt like that was necessary. I think I said this in our first review that I kind of wish there was a little more, like less cussing and a little more time spent on character development and world building. However, I understood, you know, with where the series is going and being a fantasy writer and all that, that so much has to be
ironed out.
You can only include so much in the first book.
Right.
So I was hoping, and I said, you know, these are my expectations for book 2, and she did meet them.
I too enjoyed it a little bit, maybe just a hair more. I mean, really, I gave the first book a 5. Also, I enjoyed this book too. The world building. And I don't like a lot of world building, but I felt like for this book it was necessary because there was so much that needs. I mean, it's going to be a 5-book series, but there's so much that needs to happen.
Yeah, you have to set it up.
So much that we've got to figure out. So much loose ends from book 1 that I was hoping that I would get in book 2, and I wasn't disappointed. So yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes here.
Yeah.
Of the story. So if you came here just to find out the content rating, thanks for coming. And after you read the book, please come back and join us, or come and check out the comments and whatnot.
Well, we can give them vibes, right? We can give them. Or do you think that's a little? No,
I think it's spoilery.
Well,
I think it's spoilery. But
y'all get out if you haven't listened to it.
Before you leave, well, if you have read the book and you're staying for the discussion, I'd love to know what your star rating is. So if you could comment below what your star rating is and let us know, you know, just like 1 or 2 like things, why, like what your star rating is. And I feel like maybe we should like start looking at comments and bring them up into episodes.
Yeah,
which would be fun.
That would be good.
Because I know we talk about it.
Yes.
Which there's a comment for the next book we discuss. It's another Winston Brothers. Okay. Anyways, moving on. All right, Rebecca, hit us with your things that you enjoyed. Remember, this is spoilers.
So if you've been following us for any amount of time at all, you'll know that Laura and I both audiobook pretty much everything that we we read. So I enjoyed the audiobook. I liked the dual narration. I felt that they did a really good job, just like they did in the first one. We already said more world building, more plot, more character development. Do we want to go into? Do you have any like high level what you liked, because now my stuff just starts getting into like the meat and potatoes of the
Um,
story.
well, are you talking about vibes or like things that you liked?
Just
Let's do vibes and keywords
okay.
first.
Well, we can do that.
So I feel like there was a lot of witty banter again from Taryn and Andarna.
Yeah.
So I really loved that we got to see like a teenager because it's so true.
Yes,
it's so true. There's like found family, chronic illness rep, the dragon riders, sassy dragons, stronger fantasy elements for those, and then of course I felt like the romance is still there, and there's more budding romance too with other characters.
Mm-hmm.
Which they're stay tuned, like stay throughout because we're gonna get to theories and
Yes.
like discussion. So I'm pretty stoked for that.
I put epic battles with dragons.
Oh yes,
Betrayals. That's another one. Found family. So that's one that we got the same. Big revelations. Cliffhanger. Definitely have a cliffhanger at the end of this book. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about this one. I saw this a lot online and people were mad about it. Miscommunication.
yeah, the miscommunication trope. A lot of people.
A lot of people did not like it, but I kind of feel, and I wanted to talk about this just for a second. I kind of feel like it had to be there because this is going to be a 5-book series.
Yeah.
And if it's just going to be like, I love you so much, I love you so much, oh, I love you so much, then it's going to get boring. Like, we've got to have some rub there between Violet and Xaden a little bit, you know.
Got to have some growth in the relationship.
And so
things that test it.
I felt like the miscommunication kind of needed to be there, and then when you find out more into Xaden's why, you're like, oh, okay, that totally makes sense. But
okay, so let's go on. Let's discuss the communication because I felt like I understood to an extent. It did last a little bit long.
It did, and it got a little annoying.
It got a little annoying because I felt like Violet, you need to calm down. Like,
yeah, how many times are you gonna?
But I don't feel like she. I felt like plot wise, I felt like there could have been something else that provided that rub that you're talking about, because Violet kept secrets too, and she had to do it for certain reasons to keep people safe and like not implicate like Rhiannon and her like friends, right? And so Xaden did the same freaking thing, and then it's like she couldn't let it go.
Yeah, that was annoying because it's like not only that, but he's what is he? He's not a lieutenant. Is he a lieutenant or a captain? I forget. Xaden. Anyways,
he's a king.
Well, yeah, he's got that whole thing going on.
King, but like
he's like a king, but he's also, as far as the
college
goes, that whole place.
I feel like he's a king, and we're not.
He's a king, so there was a lot of secrets he automatically had to keep, and I feel like, you know, if you're dating a guy that's got a lot going on,
I feel like he's a king because of that one scene with the throne, and the running.
Yeah.
So if he's not a king, then he's definitely some high lord of something.
Well, he said, "My house, my throne." What was it? My house, my throne,
chair,
my
woman.
Yeah, my woman.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're dating somebody that's high up in some kind of,
I just
kingdom,
felt like,
then you kind of expect there's going to be secrets, not secrets between you as far as your relationship goes, but there's just going to be some things he cannot tell you. Like, I feel like that's true in real life, you know?
Oh, because true in real life, but like the things that she was mad about, I was like, he's explained himself umpteen times. Like, you either forgive him or not. And then I got a little bit, I was like, so you could be intimate with him, you can have sex with him, sleep with him, but you can't talk to him.
Right.
Like, you're
and
just
he kept saying, if you ask me questions, I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah, she's like, so she's just going to huff and puff
She's like,
around.
but I don't know what questions to ask you.
And
well, that's not his fault.
Well, I mean, he was being evasive, but at the same time, yeah, like, he wasn't going to just offer up all the information.
Right. I mean,
so, but he did say to her, like, I will be, like, if you ask me, I cannot lie to you, or will not lie to you at that point. So, but again, it's just a personal thing. Like, how can you just trust somebody supposedly and be so angry with them, but you can do something with them at the most intimate level of giving your whole self to them, and then but you can't ask him questions or take a hot second to think about, what do I really want to ask him? What's really important to me? Said it was just like, oh, I'm just grumpy pant. I'm just gonna be angry the whole time.
Right.
I was just like, okay, that's a weak plot point. It almost docked it a star for me, but I kept it because for the most part it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
So, you know, there we go.
So that was all of my vibey words. And I
Okay.
did have down that I liked sassy Andarna. Her banter with Taryn is always
Yeah, Terry.
fun to listen
It's
to.
great. It's so great. So what are so for me some of the things that I liked? Okay. I feel vindicated.
That's why I didn't go into my first one.
I feel vindicated because of the freaking parapet walk. Remember when I said, everybody remember when I said, and it was, why do they have such little regard for human life when they're facing this huge war and they need people? So it's like, even if you fell off the parapet, there should have been some way that you don't just die.
Yeah.
Remember I said this?
Yes,
I was like,
and I was like, it's war college, Laura.
You're like, yeah,
what?
It's war college. I mean, dragons would kill them up. Then let the dragon kill them off. Or, sorry, you didn't make it past this point. You can go into the infantry and help our war that way, or these other things. And it's pretty devastating because they train their whole lives. Most of them, except for Violet, who was just thrown into that, train their whole lives for this. It's like what they want to do, right? They train for years and years and years. So that would be devastating enough, right? No. And then I was so vindicated. I was like, yes! When the Griffin Riders actually treated each other like family, and that they gave a crap about every little thing that happened to them, cried with each other, laughed with each other, and the Dragon Riders are like, ooh, I'm feeling uncomfortable.
Right. They got a little, they were...
With the emotions. I'm feeling uncomfortable with the emotions. But we see that character arc in a lot of the Dragon Riders who start to become like family. I feel like they saw that, like, this is how we should be this unit.
And they also have, like, not a parapet, but they have...
A cliff.
They have a cliff that they jump off of. And, then, like, Violet's having a conversation with one of the Griffin Riders, and she's like...
And then what happened?
So, you go... Or was it Sloane? I can't remember who did it, but where you go run out, and then you jump off
on the
cliff,
back.
and then if you make it onto a Griffin, then that's you're bonded with that Griffin. And then the... Sloane or Violet,
they're like, what happens?
What happens? They're like,
swim.
You fall into the water and you swim and
I was like,
yeah. And Laura's like, I think I messaged you, and I was like, oh look, Laura, like not everyone dies.
I was like, I already know. I already got to that part. Okay, thank you. That was my point. And so I just felt I was very excited that there was the more camaraderie, like actually having I don't know, just. They valued human life more in this book. They valued life more in this book. In the last book, it was so annoying to me that Jack could just come in and like kill a kid in training who's obviously a newbie, first time on the mat training, and he's just, let me snap his neck. And I'm like, really? No consequence for that?
We still had some of that in this book, though, too. Like, there was somebody that was after Violet, and,
He was after Violet, but he was immediately dealt with.
Yes.
He's immediately dealt with. There wasn't like this bullying, let's break into your rooms, which is like illegal and against the law. And like there's actual consequences for people.
Yes.
Whereas in the first book, I was just like, what is happening? Like, this is dumb. And then like people dying in trainings and stuff, I was like, let them die in actual battle.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I wrote down for things I didn't like a whole lot was, I mean, what the heck, Brennan? Who
values human life.
You're a healer.
He's a healer.
And you send everybody out to do this bonding training exercise, the Griffin Riders and the Dragon Riders, and the Griffin Riders are already having a huge problem with oxygen because they're just not used. The Griffins are not the. Well, they were having problems. Some of the riders just
somebody said that they thought it was more like the Griffins couldn't fly over, so they had to do this anyways. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure it was like an exercise because they weren't getting along.
They wanted to have a team building thing, which I understood, but then there was like...
But then to allow people to die in it?
There was parts where they actually had traps set up for them and they could die, and I'm thinking, Brennan, why would you risk a bunch of people? You're getting ready to go up against like...
a literal army of a gigantor size, way more than...
and why would you risk losing some people, but that didn't make any sense.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me at all.
That was annoying. Something else I did enjoy. There's not a lot of discussion with this. We saw it a lot in the first book, which was disability rep. So I really liked that. One thing I am concerned about is, what's his name? Can we have a picture, Ron, of the cast of characters?
Oh, I'm
please?
in control. Hang on.
Oh, Rebecca's in control. So sorry.
So this is Taryn and Sigale.
Just to remind you.
Taryn and
Zayd and Zaddy and Violet.
And Violet with Taryn, Xaden with Sigale.
Yes.
These are all the characters real quick. Like,
Not them. So that's Rhiannon, of course.
that's Rhiannon.
I wonder if he's even on here. Is it
no,
Sawyer?
Sawyer. Who are you talking about? What do you want?
Was it Sawyer or Bodie? Somebody. Not. I think it was Sawyer who got his leg bit off.
Oh, it was Sawyer. Yeah.
So are we going to see more disability rep in like the next book in terms of that, or do you think they're going to go pull his leg and or like just embowel, like what is that called? Disembowel?
Disembowel.
Like when you gut somebody, gut the dragon. I wonder if they're going to gut the dragon who bit his leg off, or Brennan who bit his leg off.
I thought Violet got the leg back.
I don't know, and go retrieve the leg, and then Brennan will heal it because he can't be a rider without
Well, the
it.
problem is right now with that whole scene is that Brennan's like caught up in trying to heal a bunch of people, and then,
Right.
and it was like,
And he's fading.
yes, and there's time, obviously. I mean, if we're
But
going into real
But
world,
I'm like nervous because like if it's not fixed, is he
Then
gonna
he's gonna-
is he gonna be able to be a rider anymore?
yeah, well, yeah, I was concerned about that too. Like,
Unless they
what's
come
gonna
up with
happen.
some other belt contraption like they did for Violet, but I don't see that happening.
You can be
So
a pirate dragon rider. I don't know.
No. No, so that was really sad for me. I was like, Sawyer! I was so stressed. I was so stressed. It was a constant roller coaster.
At least,
So all these
but we
people
know
were like,
he
oh,
lived
this book
though.
was
At least,
so slow. This book, blah, blah. I was like, what are you talking about?
yeah, I don't know.
It was constant for me.
I don't know who you people are that didn't think that this was not just action scene after action scene, and just my stomach was always up in my throat.
How dare you?
Yes.
How dare you? It was just like, yes, it started a little bit slow, but it was like fast, and it went to medium and fast again and all of that.
These are some new characters that were brought in with this book. Arik Greycastle and Sloane Mari. Sloane is Liam's sister, and Arik is
the king's
son, and
who entered without his dad knowing.
Yes,
He went to war
yes.
college without his dad knowing, and now he's like essentially going against his father, who's the king.
he's going against, yes, and he's a key player with them having to get certain things.
This is where I talked about budding romance. I think there's going to be something
between those two, you think?
Yes. I think so.
I'm so glad by the end of this book, Sloane's kind of stopped hating Violet so much. Like, she couldn't stand her at the beginning.
I mean, a lot of people do that with grief, right? They have to find something
of course.
to blame.
You have to find something to blame.
Even though War College itself and Basgiath is hard enough. But I mean, how great was it to see Liam again? I was really hoping for book 2 that he would be alive somehow.
Can we just talk about another thing I wrote in the things I didn't like so much? Jack Barlow comes back from the dead, sort of. Yes, but okay. So I'm kind of hoping that Liam comes back, but not envenened.
We were hoping that Liam would come back
because they still have some of Liam's personal items. So, and we know that when people die, they burn all their stuff
for a reason.
For a reason.
This is part of theories we're going to get to in a
But
few
anyways,
minutes.
I feel like if you're going to bring back Jack freaking Barlow, at least
you couldn't bring back Liam.
Is bring back Liam.
Rebecca?
Yeah.
Rebecca. Okay. I felt like something else I really liked, besides all the twists. So one more thing to talk about was I liked Violet's character arc for the most part. Besides the whole like, oh, I'm angry at you.
He's not telling me everything.
Oh my
God.
blah, blah, blah. But I felt like she did step up her game in terms of being more of like a leader this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she worked on just her physical ability too. She started training more to run more.
Well, that was with
she went out
the
with
pink-haired girl.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Imogen.
Imogen, thank you. Was it Imogen?
Yeah, she ran with Imogen.
Yeah.
And then
they trained her.
Because her best buddy, Rhiannon, was kind of like, you're hanging out with Imogen? Like, what is going on with that?
Rhiannon,
because there's just so much that Violet knew from that last battle in book 1.
How could I forget one thing that I need to say? Go ahead, you can talk, because we're going to discuss Dane.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was number 1 on mine, Dane.
All you haters at me?
Yeah.
Who are like, Dane needs to die. Dane, there's no redemption for Dane, blah, blah, blah. And I brought up, I was like, wait a minute. she grew up with him. There's like a story there. Like, he doesn't just become an evil person out of nowhere. Like, let's give him the benefit of the doubt that, like, he's not being told the whole truth. He's going to have to figure out what the truth is. Like, he's a super loyal dude, like, all these things. Like, he didn't know all the things that
Laura's
was happening.
better than me. I would have done what Violet did and pretty much wanted to kill him from jump.
No, because there's got to be, like, well, not Violet, but Xaden wanted to kill, like,
well, but
Xaden.
she always, when she got
She
back
was
to
hurt.
Baskaya,
Well,
she
she
was
was hurt
like, get the
because-
heck away from me.
well,
Don't touch me.
She was hurt because she thought that he sent them to their death. Which
Well,
was
right,
not
that
what
he
happened.
knew.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought. I felt
Everybody
very
was
betrayed.
so quick. Everybody's so quick to drop the guillotine.
He was very
and just
betrayed.
off with his head. But that's not what we should do. We should look at their history and who they are as a character and why she loved Dane so much in the beginning. And like, I mean, she grew up with him. She fell in love with him over time. He showed her his character over time, and like, yeah, war college changes you a little bit, but I don't think it changed him at his core.
So I did put Dane's redemption arc. Okay, fine, Laura.
Everyone abandoned his ship, but not me. Thank you so much. Although I was a little nervous at some point. I was like, ooh, Dane's moving in a little bit, and she's mad at Zaddy. I don't know what's going on.
Yes, I was a little nervous. I was like, oh, Dane, please. Especially when Violet was being tortured by, what's his name?
Oh my gosh.
Varish. Yeah. I was like, okay, because I kept bringing Dane in, and I was like, oh my gosh, please, Dane, don't.
Dane was planning his, and then
and then Dane finally was like, okay.
But then he let her kill. Didn't he let her kill him?
And Xaden, they both did, because it was a group effort. Xaden and Dane's joint rescue of Violet, because they jointly rescued her.
Well, Xaden showed up, but after Dane had already decided on rescuing this.
Exactly.
She's the love of my life. I love her.
Yes.
You know.
And I do believe you're right. Dane was the one who said, hey, you want to do the honors, and was like, push the knife deeper.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, he was a quick study. He learned. Like, Violet was like, you can't keep protecting me. I gotta, like, do this. And then he finally, I can imagine that would be hard. Like, you've seen her grow up, and, like, she wasn't trained for war college. He was shocked to see her there. He knows her body's frail and what it takes to be a dragon rider. I don't think it had anything to do with him not believing in her. I think it was he was so scared to lose her because he loved her so much.
Yeah.
And I stuck with it, and you know what? I was right. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. Okay. Other budding relationships. We don't have a picture, I don't think, of Jasenia. But we had Sawyer.
No.
I think that's so cute. He's like he wants to learn sign language so he could talk to her, which I still think that's really weird because she's capable of talking, but they only sign. Like, I don't understand that.
She actually can't talk.
Are you sure?
Yeah. She's deaf.
Are you sure? No.
Yes.
No. I don't believe it. 1 second.
I totally think that's why he learned to sign, because she can't speak. I believe she's really deaf, because even Violet signs to her.
Everybody she is deaf.
Thank you.
I thought it was just something that how
the scribes talk
the scribes
to each other.
talked.
I think
that's really how they talk.
Yeah, because that's why Violet learned sign language. But I mean, no, Jasenia really is deaf.
Hold on, that's a fandom thing. Hold on.
But I thought that Jasenia, it was my understanding that Jasenia was actually deaf, and that's why Sawyer learned to sign. And had them all teach him how to sign.
Yeah.
I just have some pictures up of, this is
Mira.
Mira with her dragon. Tiny, I think that's his name. And then we meet Catriona. She's a Griffin rider, but she was also Xaden's ex-girlfriend. So there were times where Violet and Catriona kind of got, Kat's got like her power is to control people's emotions. So anytime Kat and Violet were in the same proximity with each other, Kat would just control Violet's emotions, and Violet would kind of go a little crazy. And so there was a little bit of cat fighting between Violet and Kat, no pun intended. Yeah. But eventually Kat comes around, and she's starting to become a better person, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
I start to like
her
Kat
dad
a little
was
bit more. Yes, her dad was a crazy
Thank God
person.
Mira stayed with Violet when they were at his house to
Mhm.
they brought them over, and then what was that, like a wardrobe or something?
There was
And
a
then-
trunk that he wanted her to open, Violet.
And then a venom comes out.
The venom pops out of it. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh,
Who are you people again that think that this book is not?
Zayden was losing it.
Yes.
And luckily Mira was like I think Mira stayed. I think
yep.
she refused to like leave her side. But it was just Violet and Mira, and then
but Zayden was told he can't get involved. But
Zayden was in, what was it, like, it was, I think they were in stands or something. It was like
I felt like it was like the picture that I had in my mind was there was like a balcony, maybe not a super high balcony, but a balcony, and then there was like a
I pictured it like a mini amphitheater,
like a courtyard in front. I didn't picture it like that. I pictured like a big courtyard with grass and stuff like that, and beyond the grass would have been like maybe some rocks and then water.
I don't know.
This is what I pictured in my head, and then
Yeah.
I'm thinking the trunk is like sitting there in the middle of the courtyard,
Right?
and that's where all this took place. But they were a little bit elevated. You know, you go up some stairs, and then you're.
I felt like he was far enough
First.
away though, where he couldn't jump in or not like in time, like fast enough.
I believe that he said that he couldn't get involved.
No,
I think that he said that he couldn't get
I
because
have to
Brennan was
read-
also there.
I have to re-listen to this.
Brennan was. I just
I have to
re-listened to
re-listen
it.
to
Not to. I thought he said that, but I could be wrong.
Then you're probably right, because I haven't. I mean, I listened to this right when it came out, so it's been a little bit. Can we see Arik for one more second? Is it Eric or Arik?
I thought it was Arik.
Okay,
Arik.
Arik. So just again a little bit about him. So he joins the rebellion, basically against his father, the king, and then so the king has no idea his son is in this yet, right?
And we don't even find out if he ever finds out that his son's in it.
Yeah, but I feel like he's going to become a bigger player.
Oh, for
That's what
sure.
I think.
For sure.
I think he's going to become definitely a bigger player. Then we have Lieutenant Sorengale. So
Oh yeah, she had a little bit of a. Oops, I didn't want to go that far.
I'm gonna go back to, like, there we go, up one more.
Yeah, Violet's
mom.
Mom.
Her mom. So we had a theory, at the end of the last book week discussion for first book, that we thought like her mom, or at least I remember I said this, that her mom's gonna die. So that theory came true for us. But I didn't think it'd be this book.
I didn't think it would be this book at all.
I didn't think it'd be this quick.
And I knew that she was just kind of going through the motions and playing along with this whole like thing that's going on as far as the culture at the war college.
Yeah, so we hypothesized that she knew what was going on.
She would do whatever it took to save her kids.
But yeah, so she went against. I didn't love that she like knew it was wrong, but at the end, the mother's love, she just gave her life.
Especially when she saw Brennan. I mean, everything happened like boom, boom, boom.
That was a little rushed, because I was
Yes.
like, what is happening right now? Like, so essentially what happened, right, is she gave all her power into basically expending her signets.
Yes.
Past the point where she burned out,
Mm-hmm.
so that she could help light whatever the stone was.
Yep. And
That was sad. I did not think she would die this book, but we did hypothesize that she would die at some point. I said book 3 or 4, and that she knew what was going on.
Well, Sloane ended up having to eventually sort of take her life because Sloane is a siphon. So General Sorengale was coming to the end of her power, so Sloane pushed it with hers and siphoned the power to give it more power.
Yeah, her mom burned
and so that's how she ended up dying. Sloane
Lieutenant
ended up
Sorengale,
having to like add to it.
Lieutenant Sorengale, she burned out,
Yeah.
which is what happened to Brennan's rider friend. Okay, Neolin, because he died saving Brennan, so we feel like he used all of his, like he burned out saving Brennan, bringing Brennan back. Do we want to look at these next slides?
Yeah. So we talked about Kat. She's
Catriona.
a new person. The next slide though is Andarna, grown up.
Well, teenager Andarna.
Yeah. So she's a purpley dragon. which I
Well, she's so dark, but then she shimmers.
yes, she shimmers in the light as purple.
But can't she blend in with things
yeah,
too?
she
So
can blend.
Can change. Like
She
she's
can
like a
go into the
chameleon.
shadows. Yeah, she's a little bit chameleon.
Yeah.
Yep.
She is fierce. One of her kind. That looks so cool.
And she's awesome. And she was the key to building the wards back up. Like they needed this extra.
They needed her
They
fire.
needed her. And she's a different breed of dragon that they haven't seen in a really long time, or that they
she's
maybe
the only
never
one
have
left.
seen. She's like the only one.
Yeah. Which is why she was also really important. So here's Varish.
Varish, the evil man.
He looks a little venom.
Yeah.
Except he has hair. He looks a little venom to me. So I don't really know. This is from EmpyreanWriters.com. The Burton Varish photo. So I don't, he was an evil dude.
Very evil.
Evil dude. And the whole like torturing, Violet was like tortured twice.
Mm-hmm.
She was tortured in the
tortured
exercise with Riddick and Rhiannon, right?
Yes.
Or was it Riddick and Rhiannon not there? There was two
No,
people with her.
it was Riddick. I don't know. Was Sawyer not with them, or was it just Riddick, Rhiannon? I thought Sawyer was there too. It was like their whole
I think
little.
it was Violet, Sawyer, and Riddick. I don't think there was another girl because they were split up.
No, Rhiannon was in there too.
They were split up, so I don't remember who was.
Rhiannon was in there too.
Okay.
It was their whole entire group because they were tortured as a group.
And then
they escape. They escape.
Yeah.
And because they ask them all a secret and all that stuff, and then they escaped from all of that. But then she was taken again.
Yes.
By herself.
Which I was really disappointed in the healer that worked at the school, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Because he's like experimenting with Jack Barlow. But my thing with Jack is who went into the crumbly mountain and dug him out and said, this kid's worth saving? Was he already venom?
Oh, I think that they picked him up. That one of those like.
Was he already venom though?
I don't think so. I think that he was just a really wicked dude, and I mean that's just
but
my take on it.
Why save him? Like who goes in? Like who came in and saved him and like brought him back and is like, let's experiment with you and keep your venom under control, and you can continue going into our school.
Him.
No, but also the healer at school, who was like loved Violet and took care of Violet for like the whole life.
I'm conflicted about him.
I don't understand.
His name was Nolan, not Neolin, but Nolan, right?
I don't know.
Nolan. I think
I
his
don't
name
know.
was Nolan. But anyways, Taryn and Solus. I mean, I loved those two. Their interactions together were amazing.
Yeah.
Because Taryn.
I wish he had his patch though, or missing his eye. Maybe it's the other side.
Yeah, because Taryn took his eye. His eye was already missing, but then Taryn just. Yeah.
Taryn tore him up.
and Taryn got in between, because Varish also tried to burn Violet out other times, and Taryn would get in between the two of them by going after Solus.
Well, with the cave, when Solus, with the cave.
Yeah, the cave, that came and Darna was there. But I mean, when he was just trying to burn her out on top of the mountain.
Outside the mountain, he's like trying to tear apart the mountain to get them out.
But Andarna actually,
Taryn
was late. He was traveling, but
yeah,
Andarna was the one who ended up killing Solus.
Taryn was late, or he couldn't fit inside, and
he was on his way there. He was trying to get there.
Oh, okay.
But then Andarna got there first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
Okay. These are creepy.
Could you imagine?
Not at all what I imagined in my mind, but yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so
I imagined this, but the way that this dragon looks.
Well, I don't know. Well, because there's dragon and then there's wyvern.
The wyvern, yes.
And I forget which it is. Like, do dragons have separate arms, or are dragons? Because if you look, they don't have their arms are their wings.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I imagine them to be some creepy
thing.
Creepy thing.
I don't know what I was imagining, but this is way creepier than what I imagined.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's definitely intense. So like that was, I couldn't imagine
fighting that. Yeah.
And the dragons. And so, okay, do we have any more? Do we have got two before? Okay,
no,
we have a bunch. We have some fun quotes. We'll share these. We'll put these up on our site. We can go through some of them, but I wanted to go through theories first really quick with you. Okay. Bear with me. We can go back to Lieutenant Serengale for a second. Do you think she turned venom or had an affair with somebody who I don't know how you have an affair with somebody who's venom, but that she turned venom or that her husband was venom or something that made Violet.
No, I think that
Do you think Violet's part venom? Because people are saying because she has the whited out hair and then like that. But then I'm thinking because we saw it, they look kind of like all like pale and like white. The dragon, the wyvern looks like they're all pale. But then I'm thinking like Jack Barlow, wouldn't they have noticed if he looked like red eyed and all that? But he's venom.
Well, a couple things. Violet's white hair, we found out in book 1, came from when Lieutenant Sorrengail was pregnant with her.
Correct.
And got struck, right, with lightning, right?
No, she got sick or something.
Or she got sick or something. I don't know.
Sick or some fight. But again, so was it struck by venom?
I don't know. I'd have to go.
This is where the theory is like.
But the second part though is in book 1, Violet is knifed, stabbed, whatever you want to say, by the venom blade. So she started getting her blood started to congeal with the venom's poison and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, if anything, she has a little bit of immunity to the venom.
Yeah, but how?
Stuff because of it getting through her bloodstream, and then Brennan healed her.
No, but I mean, I think it was already in her bloodstream from when she was in utero.
Possibly because General Sorrengail obviously has known about this whole entire thing because she had the blades that had the runes on them that protected against venom, because you can only kill venom with a certain kind of rune blade. So yeah, I would think so.
Okay.
Or maybe not. I don't know. It's an interesting theory.
So some theory is that Violet is part venom to in some extent. And on the flip side of that, so then, of course, huge spoiler, at the very end, the cliffhanger is Xaden is now venom.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
My theory, though, this is going to be like, if you have read Vampire Academy series, it's older. But it's kind of like a similar thing where there's like vampires, but they could turn like to like these crazy vampires type of situation where they have like this unbelievable strength and agility and speed and like they're very violent and whatever. So basically you don't want to turn into that. I forgot the name of it, but I feel like we're going to have like a Vampire Academy situation where somehow Violet will save Xaden.
I think that's probably true. I mean, I know that it's a theory too, like the 2 signets, because we find out that Xaden has the second signet, which he's an intrinsic, right? It's intrinsic, which is kind of like a no-no as far as dragon riders or dragon ecology. I mean, like you get killed for that. So,
but he can't it's like he reads emotions,
right? He reads intentions.
Yeah, intention.
So, but then the reason why Xaden has the second signet is because somebody in his family line.
It was too immediate, so there's a chance he can lose his mind.
But I mean, the way that you end up with a second signet is because you have somebody in your family tree that is something.
That rode
right?
that same dragon.
That rode the same dragon, yes. Okay, I knew I was going somewhere with that. So Violet's she's thinking she's going to have a second signet just because she's got
2 dragons.
2 dragons. And my theory is that, we know that her second signet is going to be really unusual because
Rebecca Yarros said that we see her second signet.
So I think that it might be sort of like, I'm probably going to say it wrong, siphon-like maybe, like she can kind of take other people's power maybe, I don't know. Or, we know she can talk. We can know she can talk to dead people.
Can talk to dead people because not only did she see Liam, she felt him.
But she can also talk to dragons, other dragons.
Well, I thought that was because of. She can.
She can. Well, she talked to the one, then she wasn't supposed to.
Which one?
The one at the end. Who is the second strongest dragon besides Taryn? Well, no, who is the leader of all the dragons? Not Taryn. She talked to him at the end of the book.
The Deus? No.
forget who it is.
I forgot who it is.
General so-and-so's, but she, like, got out in front of him, and, like, everybody was like, no, Violet, because she starts to talk to him at the very end, and, like, she's...
So it could be that, but I feel like my theory is it's the dead people thing, and I feel like dragons could talk to you if they wanted to, but they only talk to their rider. I don't know if there's, like...
Normally, they kill you if you try to talk to them.
So I feel like, I mean, that could be, but I feel it's more so, because I don't think that would be as, like, wow, that's a twist, because Taryn could always just be like, oh, this dragon said this to you, you know? Like,
No, I know, but it could be...
My thing more is that she can see dead people. I think that's going to play a part, because, again, they kept some of their dad's stuff, kept some of Liam's stuff. And so
now her mom's dead.
So I think we're going to see those characters again, because she could talk to them.
Yeah.
And, like, they could help her.
Oh, for sure. No, I totally believe that.
So I think
wrote
her
that
dad will
too.
come back and will help her. It's going to be a group effort to save Zayd and, like, turn people from Venom back to, like, their normal selves. So that's what I think her signet is.
Oh yeah, I know it's gonna be something.
It's basically crossing that the veil.
She's gonna be a necromancer.
No, but not bringing people to life, but talking to them from across the veil, or however you want to say it in this thing. My other theory is, okay, I didn't come up with this. I found this one online. They say that Xaden is a god, or his mom is a god.
I believe Xaden's a god.
Because his mom was like, I don't know if he was a god. I don't think he would turn Venom. But his mom was basically like, well, I did my duty. I had a son, and now I'm out. Like, where is she?
I think that I think she's a sage. She's something. She's up there.
That's what people thought. My thing is I think that Xaden's mom has become the lead sage. Because that's why I think his dad was so adamant, like, these things exist. We got to fight this war. And then they made him like, oh, you are a rebellion, part of the rebellion. Like, you're casting lies. And they killed everybody who believed this. Mm-hmm. I think he believed it so wholeheartedly and knew what was happening because he was so closely related to it. So I think because also what was interesting to me is Xaden and Violet were sharing dreams. She was seeing Xaden's dreams.
Yes, she was seeing the same guy. I think the same sage. Was he a sage? Was
I don't know
tormenting both of them.
It felt like it was a little confusing because it almost felt like I thought they were each having their own dreams, where a sage was trying to get them both because they wanted them both.
Right.
Because when they would see Violet, it's like,
they're very powerful.
We can't hurt you. We need you. And I'm like, wait a minute. So, but was that Venom in Xaden's dream? But Violet was seeing this dream, thinking it was her, but it was Xaden the whole time. It was crazy. It was a little.
I don't know about that. I think that it was still the sage guy because that's
what I mean. The sage was coming, but I think it was Xaden's dream. But Violet was seeing his dream because she can cross veils, like, right. So I think she's like, I don't know. I think she could do that, but she thought it was her, like, from her perspective in the dream, but really it was Xaden.
Yeah, I could see where you would say that, and
that's kind of what I think. So I think, well, why does somebody want them so much? How do they know who these people are and why they're so powerful already? It's because somebody knows Xaden, who's Venom, and knows him closely.
That's why I think the mom is like,
I think it's the mom, because she disappeared. Yep. She disappeared out of nowhere. It's like, I had a son, and then she just said, who leaves their son for no reason? Like, why? Oh, because I had a son, and the agreement was I only stayed. Yeah,
there's got to be a big reason to leave.
And I was like, this is a weird matchmaking between his dad and her, and it was weird. And then some people said that, like, a sage was Neolin. I don't think so, but I do think Neolin, because they never say, I don't think, that he's actually dead.
Well, wait a minute now. What if he somehow is Venom?
I think Neolin's Venom.
And that's who found freaking Jack Barlow.
Maybe, but I do think Neolin is Venom because I don't think they explicitly say he's dead. They just don't want to talk about what happened to him.
Yeah. And
that was Taryn's rider.
And that was Taryn, yes.
So Taryn hasn't shared with Violet.
And there's secrets. So now there's and
so Taryn's keeping
Taryn
this
was
secret,
upset because Sigil had kept secrets about Xaden being in Tenzek, and he was very upset.
Yeah.
So there's going to be more secrets. There's secrets all over the
because
place.
He knows that puts his rider in jeopardy, because if something happens to him, he gets killed, she'll
die.
Like, would she die?
If Xaden dies?
Yeah.
That's their thought. I thought that's their thought process.
It was more like a love thing.
They're all like connected.
I don't know. I just think that Neolin, in order to save Brennan, he had to siphon power, which you're not supposed to do from the ground, And in doing so, he saved Brennan, but he turned venom.
Yeah, that's what I
So
think
that's
too.
what I think happened.
Yeah.
Let's go through some of our favorite quotes, and then we will close out, folks. I love this one. So love at its root is hope. Hope for tomorrow, hope for what could be, hope that the someone you've entrusted your everything to will cradle and protect it. And hope that shiz is harder to kill than a dragon.
Hope.
I like this one. You want to read that one? Taryn and Darna make this whole thing.
Taryn is awesome. Humans have the memories of gnats. Dragons hold grudges. Taryn.
We're going to put more of our favorite quotes. If you have favorite quotes, you can list them in the comments as well. I like this one from Andarna. Scratch her eyes out, Andarna suggests. Really, the eyes are the softest tissue. Just jab your thumbs in there. Andarna, use some common sense. Taryn snaps. The kneecaps are much easier target.
And then you get, we do not eat our allies. Find another snack. Because she kept trying to eat everything. She was young and she was hungry.
She was hormonal and like all the things, just crabby. Yeah, so but this is, I think, what you were talking about. I love you. I'm in love with you. I'm grateful my life is tied to yours because it means I won't have to face a day without you in it. My heart only beats as long as yours does. And when you die, I'll meet Malik at your side. It's a blank good thing that you love me too because you're stuck with me in this life and every other that could possibly follow. So maybe I think they are tied.
No, they're tied because I know that if, yeah. Because she's always, even down to where the group of guys.
But sometimes it felt more like we're tied because we love each other so much.
It's all in her head too. She's like, oh my gosh, if I die, then everybody's dead. What I was saying was when those soldier guys or whatever were attacking her, at that cliff, and she was like hanging on the cliff, and then Jack Barlow saves her life. But I mean, she was sitting there worried.
Oh, you mean on the top of the building off the roof?
Yes, when she was like hanging there, and she's like, Taryn, you got to get to me.
Yeah, Jack saved her life because he's supposed to bring her to whoever this head main.
No, but I know, but in her mind, she's like, oh my gosh, if I die, and Zayden's also worried about this all the time too, and in their minds are like, if I die, then everyone's dead. And I don't know that they actually know that this will happen, but I don't think they want to test the theory.
There's like Easter eggs, like why my life is tied to yours. But I read it also could be symbolic. Like if you go, I'm done. Like I have nothing to live for. Mm-hmm. And like the riders are like knowing that they want to keep them away because then they know that if one dies, then the other is going to be like, let me just jump off the cliff and join you.
But if your dragon dies, you're dead.
Correct. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of the humans, so I don't know if it's explicit yet, where if I feel like we're led to believe, like, where it's muddled.
I don't agree. I think that they literally will die.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that being said, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Bloop with Iron Flame. We hope that you enjoyed it. Maybe we changed your mind a little bit. And like if you were like, it was okay, like now listening and re-talking about it, maybe you're like, oh, it was great.
Yes. Maybe it was actually like really all the nail-biting experiences.
Yeah. And if not, whatever. That's why there's millions of books out there. You'll find something that you like. But we really enjoyed it. And we thought it was well done.
And we can't wait for the third book to come out.
No, I know it's going to be
I don't want to wait a year.
But. I know. But... I mean, I understand.
But we will review it here. So know that it will be in our lineup.
Yeah. So join us next time when we are discussing the Winston Brothers, Book 3, Beard Science by Penny Reed. And we'll catch you guys later.
Yep. Until then, God bless you guys.
Like, share, subscribe.
Bye.